With the NBA draft only 3 weeks away, the Lakers are starting to look to upgrade their roster for next season, and a star forward and the pride of Finland, Lauri Markkanen, could be available for the right price. Also, the Lakers did another interview for their coaching search. What's good, y'all, and welcome to another Lakers Digest video. I'm your host, Okechi Apakama, and before we get into everything that we have for you for today's video, guys, I want to bring your attention to something. There is 85% of you guys who recently watched your videos who are not subscribed to the channel just yet. And if you guys want more of that Laker news, like reactions, trade rumors, just every and all things LA Lakers, you guys are going to come right here to Lakers Digest so you guys don't miss any of those offseason updates. Now, with that out the way, guys, let's hop straight into the topics that we have for you for today, as Lakers could make a run for Markkanen. So, Lauri Markkanen could be a very high commodity if the Utah Jazz decide to trade him, as he is in the final year in his contract and he's up for a contract extension. So a lot of things are contingent on whether what Lauri Markkanen wants and what the Utah Jazz want to do. So a team like the Los Angeles Lakers are always lurking and looking to see if they can make a possible deal, especially if Lauri Markkanen and the Utah Jazz do not find common ground on extension, and then that opens up to possible trade possibilities. And this is where the Lakers come in with their 3 first-round draft picks that they can trade this starting on the NBA draft. This is what's very huge and different for the Los Angeles Lakers, different from what they had during the middle of the season, where they can only trade 1 of their picks. Now they have 3 first-round picks to trade, and now they can be a player in some of these big-name players, a guy like Lauri Markkanen, who is a very valuable asset despite his injury history. So Lauri Markkanen, like I said, the biggest draw from a guy like him is he's a 7-footer that can shoot. And although he missed 43 games the past couple of seasons, he did have an all-star year in 2022 to 2023, averaging 25.6 points per game to go along with 8.6 rebounds. And then he backed that up the season prior with 23.2 points per game to go along with 8.2 rebounds a game. Obviously, the biggest selling point for a guy like Lauri Markkanen is his shooting percentage, as he shot 39.1% from the three-point line in 2022 to 2023, and then the year prior he shot almost 40% from 3. And then if you can get a guy like that to match up with a guy like Anthony Davis, as one GM called it, a dream scenario. But that is also the dream scenario for a couple of other teams. So the Lakers have to be very poignant and decisive if they're going to make a trade for a guy of his caliber, because there's going to be other teams who are going to be playing in that game as well. And then a guy like Lauri Markkanen, who who can fit pretty well next to a guy like LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and LeBron has already spoke highly of him on the Mind the Game podcast. So he is already pretty fond of a guy like Lauri Markkanen, and then him next to Anthony Davis, because you saw those rebounding numbers, almost 9 a game. That's very massive for a guy like Anthony Davis. And then his ability to shoot the ball on the other side will allow Anthony Davis to do what he can do inside the interior, and allow him to be that dominant post-up big that he can be. So getting a guy like Lauri Markkanen could be a very good thing for Los Angeles Lakers, but like I said, it's up to if the Utah Jazz want to trade in. And the biggest reason why I say that is because Danny Ainge is at the helm, and then a lot of Laker fans know that name, as he was a longtime Celtics president over there, and then now he's over here in Utah, and then so now he is trying to facilitate a trade for the Utah Jazz. And an anonymous GM was spoken to about Danny Ainge and possibly not making a deal with possibly a team like the Lakers, obviously with his history with the Celtics and all of that. And this is a little bit what they had to say about this, as he said, they'll listen. One Western Conference executive said that they always listen. Danny's reputation is overblown. He wants a championship team. He wants to do what Sam Presti has done in Oklahoma City. He knows he's still a long way off. There'll be tough and a price will be high, but that's how it should be. And what with this Western Conference exec was kind of alluding to was the price on Lauri Markkanen is probably going to be fairly high, which is kind of strange, especially with a guy in his contract year and you don't have the guaranteed years behind it. It is very hard for a team to really have that leverage, especially when that player is in his last year of his deal and he doesn't have the guarantee to other teams that he'll sign an extension, especially if a trade were to arise. But the first things first is see if the Utah Jazz could come together and a negotiated deal for Lauri Markkanen for his extension, because he can get paid up to a 5-year, $200 million extension. Now, he probably won't get anywhere near that value, but he'll probably get a little bit lower, maybe about the 175 million range, because a guy like Domantas Sabonis got 184 million. So that's kind of like the market of where Lauri Markkanen's at, a guy who can be an all-star in this league and can be very helpful to a playoff caliber team. But this also kind of depends on Lauri Markkanen and kind of what he wants to do, because maybe he doesn't want to leave the Utah Jazz, as he gave an interview to the Salt Lake City Tribune saying that down there at the bottom, so I don't want to be that guy, Markkanen said and paused. Like, I've seen NBA people turning down extensions or signing them too early. I'm going to sit down and think about it. So this is about the possible deal that he could sign this offseason. And to have a guy like Lauri Markkanen kind of just waiting in the rooms, kind of see what he's got, kind of makes things weird for the Utah Jazz, as he is their best trade asset. A lot of their younger guys are still kind of trying to find themselves in the NBA. Guys like Walker Kessler, guys like Keontae George, but then they're still kind of like in that weird NBA limbo where they're definitely not good enough to be a playoff team, but they're definitely not the worst team either, so they're not in that first round pick range. So the Utah Jazz have some figuring out to do, whether it's trading some of their guys like Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, Lauri Markkanen, any one of these guys to sort of like help fill out their roster and find a direction of what they want to do and where they want to go forward. And Lauri Markkanen is obviously a big piece in that, and we'll see what he does this offseason, because if he does not sign that extension, then we got to look for if he's going to be available to trade. And a team like the Los Angeles Lakers, who have those 3 first-round draft picks, are going to be very huge. And then also the ability to trade one of their younger guys, whether it's going to be an Austin Reaves or Rui Hachimura. But some executives are thinking that it could be both guys like Hachimura and or Vanderbilt along to go with Austin Reaves in that deal. But we'll see what the market really turns out for the Los Angeles Lakers. But there was another story the Lakers had, and they had another possible coaching interview. And so they brought in the Denver Nuggets lead assistant, Dave Adelman. So he met with the Lakers just before, and so that's another name that we're adding to the list. The Lakers have interviewed guys like Mike Nori, that's the lead assistant for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and then Dave Adelman, lead assistant for the Denver Nuggets, to go along with James Borrego, former head coach of the Charlotte Hornets, and then JJ Redick, who everybody's favorite podcaster and seemingly favorite choice for the Los Angeles Lakers head coaching gig, has kind of gone to. So those have kind of been the guys the Lakers have interviewed. Oh, and then also Sam Cassell. But those are the guys who the Lakers are kind of just have in the wings, trying to see what they've got. And I think they're kind of waiting, like I said in a previous video, after the finals to make their formal announcement of what they want to do, because it is very imperative that the Lakers get this done before the NBA draft, because draft night, like I said, that's a big night for what possibly could be a ton of trades, and the Lakers have 3 first-round draft picks they can trade. So draft night is going to be huge for the Lakers. So it is very vital and important that they get a coach in place once that happens. But what do you think of the Lakers are going to do once the offseason hits? Are they going to be able to make a deal for a guy like Lauri Markkanen? Or are they going to have to settle for maybe something else, or pay a very hefty price to get a guy like Lauri Markkanen on their team? Let us know in the comments down below. I have been your host, Okechi Apakama, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.